Hello, happy stampers. This is Kate with Kate's Paper Creations, here to share with you a new project. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Washington State, and I prepared a bookmark for the in color to bring up the in colors, the new in colors, excuse me, and I made one of these for all of my customers to put in their catalogs. Now I have to confess that this is actually made on my Silhouette Cameo because I was able to print and then cut it out. So all of this is printed on the computer, and then these pieces are cut out. This one has all the pieces on it and put together. So on this particular card, it is 2 inches wide by about 8 inches, so total 2 by 8. These little pieces of the cardstock that I cut are 3 inches. Oh, let me get my ruler. They are 1 3/4 inches by 1/2 inch. There we go. 1 3/4 by 1/2 inch, and I just attached them with Stampin' Seal. And then on the back I added a sticker that gives my customers the links to my YouTube channel, my blog, and my online store, as well as my Pinterest collection, so that they can find things very easily. So I made these for all my customers, and I just wanted to share that with you. It's a good way to feature the in colors, and I'm sure that you could cut a piece and use one of the tag punches that we have to create the top. But like I say, I printed these so it has all of my information on it. And then I made a Slimline card to go with it, because it couldn't fit in a regular envelope and I wanted it to mail it to everyone. So I made a Slimline card. Now the base for this Slimline card is 5 by 8.5. Did I do that right? 7, excuse me. Boy, I'm really with it today. 7 by 8.5, scored at 3.5. Okay, we'll do it one more time. 7 by 8.5, scored at 3.5 to make a Slimline card. Okay, then the first layer is the soft succulent cardstock, and it is 3 1/4 by 8 1/8. I'm gonna make sure I did that, and yes I did, 8 1/8. And then these pieces are from the In Color Designer Series papers, the 6 by 6. I chose to use this plaid side. You could interchange them because there's different designs, but I decided to just stick with all plaid. And I'm going to cut, these are cut 3 by 1 9/16. That's what these are cut. And we are going to just attach them to the front of this soft succulent piece. And it's going to leave that approximate 1/8 inch border all the way around. Now I did different background colors for each card, and whatever background color I used, get this thing to, there we go, I put that color in the center. So what I mean is, this background is the soft succulent, and so I'm going to place the soft succulent piece right in the middle so that it's framed by some other colors, so it will show up a little bit better than if I placed it on the end. And other than that, the what you do with it is up to you. What order you put them in is totally up to you. And one more. Like that. And then I attached this. This is the die cut for this came from Did I leave it out? Yes, Tasteful Labels. Like I said, I must be having a bad day today. This came from Tasteful Labels. The sentiment came from Plentiful Plants, which is what I'm going to be using to decorate the front of this card with, and I stamped it with Bumblebee ink. And it's just going to go on flat. The card is thick enough already. I didn't want to add too much weight to it. I put this sentiment right here and just centered it on each of those. Then this is the die right here that cuts this out, and I have cut away a little bit of it, this and this, like this, and this one's going to go away as well, just like that. So it leaves this piece. And then I glued that to the front of the flower pot, which I stamped and cut out by hand. I didn't want it to have white around it. So I stamped it with the stamp right here, and I used cinnamon cider. And then I cut it out by hand. So here it is cut out by hand. And I used my two-way glue pin to attach this to the flower pot, just like this. So there's that. And then in the stamp set, or in the dies, is a die to cut out these succulent plant, and I cut one from Just Jade and one from Soft Succulent, and I used mini glue dots, and I put one on the front of each of these. When I say the front, the embossed side of them, because they're going to stick to the back of the flower pot. So I just stuck that on there like that. There's my succulents in the pot, and then I'm just going to add a couple of glue dots to the back of this to stick it to the card. Get one more down here, that'll be good. Okay, and then I'm just going to place that here. I'm going to have it come down just a little bit like that on this one. And then I cut a piece of the crumb cake baker's twine, and I'm going to run it through that loop at the top of the plant hanger. I've cut way more than I needed here. And I'm going to run it around to the back of the card and just put some adhesive here to stick it down with, just like that. And let's cut off the extra. I need to sharpen my scissors. And so that is the front of the art piece. I'm going to attach this to the front of this with just regular adhesive. Like I say, the card's going to have enough bulk by the time I put the bookmark inside and everything else. And so we will. Sometimes I have a hard time steering my my adhesive staying on the page. There we go. And then we will kind of center this top to bottom and side to side, just like that. That looks good. And then this will just go inside. I'll write a note to each of my customers and I'll put this inside. Now we need an envelope. And I had a whole bunch of designer series papers left over from the discontinued stuff. It's a good way to use up some designer series paper. So let me tell you how I made an envelope for my card. This starts out an 8.5 by 11 inch piece. You put it in your paper trimmer or on your Score Pal sheet page, tool, whatever, and you're going to score it in portrait position, which is narrower at the top. You're going to score it at 2.5 and 6.5. Then you're going to turn it into landscape mode, and you're going to score it at 1.5 and 10.5. Then you're going to cut the corners out like this. Get those out of the way. I got a new microphone. I think it's going to pick me up a little bit better. Hopefully it's not too loud, but it works much better than the other one that I had. Still has a wire attached because I'm not into figuring out how to do wireless, but it works good. This will be the second video I've made using it, so hopefully it will work out. So then this is what it looks like. We're also going to just trim off a little bit off of each one of these corners like that. Give it some angle. And then on this end, this is the flap that's going to close over your card when you put your card over your envelope. And I am going to put it into the trio punch, detailed trio punch, and I'm going to round the corners just like that. Then it just folds. You can choose which side you want. I think I'll do this to the inside. And one of these flaps is longer or wider than the other because they're going to overlap like this. And then I always test and make sure that these flaps are going to close in okay. Sometimes I need to trim a little bit more off of these here, but this one came out perfect. It's going to lay down just fine. So this is the wider one. I'm going to run a bead of the Stampin' Seal right next to the edge all the way down. The Stampin' Seal holds really well, and overlap it like that. And then this is the bottom, so we'll put some on it like that. And then the card will fit inside like so. And then to mail it, all you have to do is get a 1 3/8 by 4 white label, put it on the front, and then you can address it, and it's regular postage. And that's all there is to it. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you some ideas. If you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and have some customers, maybe this will give you an idea of what to share with them to get them excited about the new colors. And I thank you all for stopping by. Oh, and if you're not don't have a demonstrator and you want to become one of my customers, shop with me through my online store, and I will happily send you one of these and a little gift as well. Thanks again for stopping by.